All right, welcome back to another episode of Seaside Village with GrampaGamer. We're going to be working on the lower peninsula here. This area right here is commercial, and we're going to be trying to set that up and fix this intersection and make it a little prettier. I did a little experiment first to try this out. I like the way that looks, and I'm probably going to repeat that for the interchange here. So that's where we'll start today. So let's get this right here, and we'll get started. This will be a little time lapse of me rebuilding this intersection. I don't know if I showed this, but we are using the earthquake sensors to transfer power. I like using these instead of power lines where I can, because you can hide them under freeways, as you see. One there, and they make a nice little connection. All right, so we're going to start by deleting all this stuff out. Get rid of the power lines, all the extra roads. Going to move the water intakes over here to a little island over here. Get them out of the way. Try not to leave too much garbage underground, even though nobody ever sees it. I usually clean that up. And that'll eliminate all the other power lines we just put in. That should cover everything with power. Get rid of the bridge. Try a few different things with this to get what I wanted. Sometimes it's such a struggle to get the roads to do exactly what you want. So, you'll see me playing here for a minute. No, that's not working. That's not working. That's when I decided to start all the way back. Turn off your highway, the road length snap, and you can sometimes stick stuff into small areas like that. And since it's off, we're just stretching the road out as far as we can without the suspension bridge coming in. Now we're just going to match up our pillars. And we have two matching bridges. Trying to figure out exactly how I want to run this exit ramp here. Had an idea in my head of what I wanted, but sometimes what you have in your head doesn't always translate to the game. Set up the other side. just wouldn't let me snap to where I wanted to snap to, but it was close enough, so I left it. Wasn't gonna go about making a point where I wanted it. You can break the road right where you want it and then do that. But this wasn't snapping to that node because it would turn the pillar and that would interfere with the other roads. So that's when I decided to just do a slip lane down the side. And that would cover both directions off of one road. I want it to curl, loop around down like the other side did. So I've got to get that part laid out. Figure out how I'm snapping all this in. So we curl this one around on this side. The other side will come down right in between. So you see there's the road going to the other side. Now all I had to do was delete the monorail line, and I could have put the road there. I figure it out later on and fix it when I'm tidying things up. But when you're in the middle of doing stuff, sometimes the most obvious thing won't click. This over and down one notch at a time. By the time you come around the circle, you'll be at ground level. The circle gradually tightens as you come around. Slide that over as far as I can without hitting the pillar. And voila. See, here's where I was trying to do the other side, could not get it, took a long time. It was about 20 minutes of trial and error before I just went back and got rid of the tram line, and that's when it just dawned on me, hey, I should have done that over there because I hate that corner. So back over here to finish this one. This one actually takes a few tries to get it running smooth the way I wanted it to. The angles weren't staying in a smooth curve, so it took me a couple tries to get that. That was just the last try on that. So now we're going to redo this one. Not going to show you all the different tries on this one either. I'm trying to smooth the decline out so you don't have a jump appearing out of nowhere. Sometimes they can look like ski jumps. So that's the last one. No, it's not. This is where I fix it. Yeah, now it'll be the last one. Taking advantage of the fact that a road one level up can be snapped to from any distance, and it'll create a smooth transition between the two. If you try to go from ground level to any other height, it won't let you go more than 12. But if it's from 1 up to however many up, it'll do a slope that fits. Now I am using the trick to extend your spans past 12, and so I can't change this road. So I have to delete everything. And then I start doing this road the wrong direction, which, of course, once I put it in, I won't be able to change the direction on it. So it dawns on me, and I switch it back as soon as I get started. But you do out 11, put a road underneath, extend it out 3 or 4 units, extend the road underneath a little further. Each time you do that, you can keep going just one step at a time. 3 or 4 units, move the road underneath, 3 or 4 units, move the road underneath, and you can get a lot longer spans. Because I wanted to expand the tram line underneath there. So there's our interchange. It's not the most gorgeous, but it's functional and it looks all right. So we're going to move on to drawing in some paths. I'm using the zoo path without decorations. And that actually blends in real nice with this map. With all the palm trees and sand, it really fits in well. So a lot of palm trees and palm ferns or whatever. I don't remember what they're called actually, but the small ones that are ground level. Bushes. Palm bushes. Here's where we're putting them in. Just plopping them in along. And coming back with palm trees later. And we're starting to put in the palm trees. Pretty random at first, but then I'll go through later and look for spots that I think needs a little more. Areas where I put in too much, I'll take some out. This kind of stuff really does a lot for you. And I like to stick stuff underneath where you're not necessarily going to see it when you're looking at it from above. But I like to be able to walk through my city or drive through my city and see little details that nobody else is going to see unless they're in the city. So here's where we're just throwing in some little more detail. That one kind of got over the highway, but you know, sometimes that does happen. Won't last long until somebody runs it over, but. So we finished out that little area. Got to put back in our tram line. And of course, with the highway having the exit right there, it's not going to let it go because it was already dropping an angle right there, dropping down. So just had to extend it out and then start going downhill. Didn't like the angle on that, so brought it up here, one, and then connected it. And that looks better. So the monorail's hooked up now. Now we're going to come in. Oh, this is where I realized I had ran the access line on the other side, and I wanted to match it up so that the two sides of the highway look pretty much the same. So we're going to do the same kind of thing here. We're going to run down here, and surprisingly, this turns out to be just long enough that I can stretch this entrance ramp to that road with a connection. But I have to use the curve tool so I can stretch the line out straight further and then hook it in at the last minute. If you just drew it as a curve, it wouldn't have worked. And that really surprised me that snapped in like that with no issues. I was expecting to have to fight that a little bit. Here we had issue trying to get this up and over the exit ramp without or with it letting us do it. It kept interfering. And I didn't want to have to go higher than 4, because I usually set all my heights at 4. And I didn't want to have to go higher than that to hump over it. I hate looking where it's just a little hump out of nowhere. So we draw this in first, and then work the other road underneath it. What I end up doing is that last section of curve there, I end up making that 4. So that we could draw the road in. We struggled with this for a bit. I was trying to get it down to a level where I could sneak it in underneath. Watching me struggle. It's not going to work, Chris. Figure it out. I actually intended to cut that part out of me struggling. I didn't want you guys to have to sit through that. But you can see I went ahead and took that all the way up to 4. And that allowed us to come back through with no problem. So we can run a road through one up. So now I'm just trying to get it set so it'll go through without hitting the pillar. Trying to get it as close to the pillar as possible. Because if it's too close to the other highway, you won't be able to pull the exit off. It'll fight you on the exit. Like this. Keep saying it's interfering no matter what angle I put it at. So delete it, try and get it as close to that other pillar as possible. I know I clipped that, I just guess I deleted it. Or didn't delete it. And I forgot to put it up one there. So try it again. Oh, there it goes. I just didn't delete enough, that's all. I split my video in the wrong spot. I'm still learning on editing, guys. So, guys and gals. If I say guys, I just mean everybody. Sorry. And we got a smooth exit. This is when I straightened that up to make that a smoother curve. So come out as far as we can on one, and then just connect that up, and bingo, there's your smooth curve. So smooth decline from the highway end. So now that we've got that taken care of, it's time to move on to adding some commercial buildings in. Well, oh, nope, first we're turning this into a park, sorry. Turn this into a park over here just so we can put in some of the park assets. Bathrooms and little cafes and stuff like that. I'm not looking to turn it into a money maker or anything like that, or cheese, but cheese money. I put down a gate, but I just put down the one gate, and it's not even in a spot where anybody's really going to use it. So it's just there, making it a park. Trying to find a spot here to hide it, so it's out of the way and not an eyesore or anything. Right there. there we go. Now we're going to grab some restrooms, put them over by the trams and monorail station. And then we're going to also put in a couple cafes. Try to look where they might fit. Working our way around. And voila, right there. Get as close as you can to the ramp. Same thing on the other side. And there you go. I was debating putting in street lamps, but I'll wait till I turn on the day-night cycle and see what it looks like at night. And if it needs any light, I'll put some in. I do like my park areas well lit. So we're going to be putting in commercial here. And some of it will just be thrown in. But other areas we're going to be hand picking what we want, what size we want. And then any of the buildings that we don't want to go up, level up and get bigger, we will make them historical buildings so they stay with the appearance that we chose. They still level up, but they just don't change their appearance. So we're going to put a few shops right on the main road. Some of these little one tile buildings, some of them are kind of cute. They get little gas stations and car wash looking areas, stuff like that pop in. So I do like to put some of those in. Now this one that just popped up there, the 2x3, that popped in and I'm like, what is wrong with that? I thought it was clipping through the ground. But then I realized, no, that's broken parking lot and a full garbage can, which I don't really want in my downtown. But a 2x3 out in a rural town somewhere, out on the outskirts, and that asset would pop in, that would be awesome. So I'm planning on trying to do that with some of the more outside of the city areas and see if I can get more stuff like that to pop in. Looks kind of run down and not fully repaired. Now here we're going to go ahead and start filling in some of these empty spots between the zoning. Jump forward a little bit. Go ahead and put in a high density commercial building, just one or two of those along the way. This area isn't really going to be a financial district or anything like that, just a few buildings, a few high density. We'll keep an eye on what we get. Now see, now I let these level up and they turn into towers, plain old boring towers. So I'm going to leave a couple of them to see what they do on their next level and delete the others out and try to remember to mark them as historical buildings so they don't do that. Now we've jumped forward a little bit, we're back into decorating again. Had a few more buildings spawn in. Pretty much all I'm doing is, as areas fill in, I'm going around the buildings and just filling them in with the landscaping and paths Now here we're going to move up. We're going to move over here and do some high density residential. See what we can get to spawn in here. Nothing too big. I don't want anything too huge popping up in here. So I'm leaving these. Sometimes as they progress up, they'll actually get smaller when they level up. So I'm just waiting to see what they turn into. If it's anything interesting, once I see an interesting building, I'll usually mark it as historical, just so it doesn't change. It's time consuming, tedious, but it can really make your city look a lot different because you can capture buildings and not everything looks like a level 3 building or a level 5 building. They all function that level once you've built your city, but they don't all look the same. Time to throw in some recreational, even though we do have a park. We're going to throw in some extra ones. The Oriental garden there. Just filling in that spot there. Didn't want to zone it. And you see the cracked pavement on that one. I thought I marked that as historical. I have to check that when I get back in the game. I was going to leave that one because it's not as bad. One building with a broken parking lot wouldn't be surprising. I just don't want it all over the place. Not in this area. So again, we're going to put in our path here. And what we're doing here is getting rid of the zoning off of this road. We're using the path to do away with the zoning, and that opens up the other roads to have more tiles available. That way it's not interfering with their zoning tiles. Just doing a few different sizes. 4x4, 3x4, 4x3, 3x3, and letting them pop in. We are having educated worker issues. That's why I'm checking to make sure I didn't turn Industry 4.0 on. We do have a university, just a generic university installed, or built. Not installed. I was almost ready to delete this, and I decided to go ahead and leave it, just to see what it does as it levels up. Because like I said, sometimes they will go back down and not stay high. So now we're grabbing the tropical garden, and we're going to drop that in, and it just happened to fit perfectly symmetrical right there. Throw in some pathways around it. Yeah, the zoo path just matches this level, this map, very well. And because of the angle that this is connecting at, it's trying to force a corner. I didn't want to come off in the middle of the path. I wanted it to come off there. So just force the issue a little bit, that's all. So that's it. That little section's done. That's it for episode 2 of Seaside Village. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Now that I'm starting to clean it up and put in the finer details, it's starting to look a lot better. Cities sometimes, my cities usually start off rough because I'm trying to get the levels up. So everybody take care, and I'll see you with the next video in a few days.